What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Madonna, as well as more Luca. But yes, we're returning to Ray of Light, 1998. And the next tune is Shanti Ashtangi. I'm not sure if that's how you say it, but people did mention when I started going through this album that this album and Madonna at the time explores a lot of religious and spiritual concepts from some different places, and so with that as a hint, I do think this is like a Hindu concept. I think it's like a chant or a prayer that relates to like peace and something related to yoga, but I don't know yoga directly enough to get a sense of what that may mean. So yes, my sense here is that she is exploring a spiritual concept from within the Hindu realm and perhaps related to a path to peace or something like that. So I'll try to catch what I can on a first listen. Let's hear it. This is Madonna. The track is, I think, something like Shanti Ashtangi, though I don't think I'm pronouncing that correctly, or I would expect that I'm not. Oof.
Vande Gurunam Charanaravinda Sandarshita Swatma Sukava Bote Nishreyase Chandalikaya Mane Samsara Hala Hala Moha Shantiye Hala Hala Avahu Guru Shakaram Shankar Chakrasi Avahu Guru Shakaram Shankar Chakrasi Taharinam Taharinam Sahasra Hasra Shirasam Taharinam Taharinam Sahasra Hasra Shirasam Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Shanti Shanti, Shanti Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Shanti Shanti, Shanti Om. Vande Gurunam Charanaravinda Sandarshita Swatma Sukava Bote Nishreyase Chandalikaya Mane Samsara Hala Hala Moha Shantiye Hala Hala Avahu Guru Shakaram Shankar Chakrasi Avahu Guru Shakaram Shankar Chakrasi Taharinam Taharinam Sahasra Hasra Shirasam Taharinam Taharinam Sahasra Hasra Shirasam Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Shanti.
what a atmospheric and entrancing tune. So yeah, it feels like the whole thing is a prayer or a recitation of some mantra, perhaps meant to get you into some yoga-related path and sense of inner peace. I will say, like, I really like the composition, which again, I guess is or at least the composition mixed with the production. So both, I suppose, Madonna and William Orbit I'm speaking to here. But yes, like, it definitely has this Eastern, tribal, ritualistic type of feel, but it does keep evolving, and, like, each measure, the particular percussive configuration changes a little bit. A snare comes in, then there's like some tribal hand drums, and then it goes into what is essentially like a driving, like, trance beat. And here I use trance like in the electronic sense, but also like in the more fundamental sense of a steady state trance, which is represented by that rhythmic sonic structure. And I definitely enjoy the weight. There's like this heft and not dissonance, but this grinding feel to the lower end of the track, which really gives it this intensity. So yes, I very much enjoy the feeling of the tune, even if I don't know what the words of the prayer are. I also like how there were these call and response moments where it's like she gives the lead vocal, and then there's like this, it almost sounds like a Eastern kind of tribal vocal, but then I thought, like, yeah, it almost sounded like if you took like an elephant call and like made it a bit more melodic, like that would answer her, and then she'd get the same vocal again, and then that response would come in the form of what was like a flute or a woodwind. So I enjoy the call and response pairings and the sequencing of that. That was really enjoyable. So yes, a very mystifying and yet very intuitively felt track. Like, intellectually I don't know exactly what's happening, but emotionally and sonically I felt what the track was doing. So yes, and I heard like one or two other words that maybe I'm familiar with, like Shankara, which again, like, I don't know the full mythos or concepts behind some of these terms, but yeah, there were one or two other words in there that I have heard in other contexts. But either way, a very stunning tune, and one that definitely got me into a vibe, into like a place of feeling, even if I don't really know details about where it comes from, what the prayer is, and exactly what is being said. Nevertheless, I'm very much looking forward to the next track, which is The Power of Goodbye. I mentioned this way back at the beginning of my Madonna journey, and again at the beginning of this album. It is a tune I know back from, I think, a couple years after it came out. I think it'd be like 99 or 2000 when an old friend of mine played this for me, and it made a big impact, and I was like, damn, like, the only thing I remember about Madonna are tracks like, Lucky Star and Borderline and some of her early stuff, Material Girl. So when I heard The Power of Goodbye, I was like, number one, musically this is pretty different, and number two, it had a lot of emotional weight, which is partly a product of the context in my personal life at the time, but just the song itself, it was, I think it's very well written. So I'm looking forward to talking about that one next time and reconnecting with it musically. So let me know what you think here, and I will try to be back for that one soon. And yes, I will see you then. Peace.